Hey, Chef Ro here. Today we're going to work with shallots. Now you'll see those in recipes a lot of times in fancy recipes or in salad dressings. And one of the reasons it's usually used in salad dressings is because it contains a compound called lecithin, which actually acts as an emulsifying agent, which means the oil and the vinegar go better together if you have it in there, and it helps hold the emulsification a little bit better. So you'll see it a lot of times in salad dressing recipes, especially if they're a blended recipe. But I'm going to show you how to properly handle and mince a shallot without losing all the flavor to your cutting board. Let me show you what we're going to do. Now, I always say that shallot is kind of like garlic and onion had a baby, because you can kind of see here, and I'll show you in a second, comes in cloves like garlic and layers like an onion. Scientifically speaking, it's a member of the lily family, but it's kind of like garlic and onion together, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off this top part, because you don't need that, okay? Then I usually just give it a slit right down wherever you see the clove separation. Okay, you'll see these two like lobes here. If you don't have one like that and it's just a big fat round one, I just cut it straight down the middle, just like I would an onion. Okay, so I just slice it right there, because now this, number one, the cloves will come apart and the skin will peel right off. Okay, now sometimes you've got kind of a gross outer layer on the shallot, kind of like you do sometimes with onions. And if that's the case, I give it a slit down its belly and peel that outer layer off also. When we're mincing an onion, you never want to do this motion. Same thing with onions. You'll leave all the flavor behind on your cutting board. You'll see it gets super, super wet, and then all the flavor's there instead of in here. So really, technically speaking, the way that you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to do just like an onion and go very, very, very small, and then go this way, and then go this way. And in a fine dining application where you actually can really see the knife cuts, that is absolutely how you're gonna do it. But I'm gonna show you how I do it instead. I am gonna follow this curve, okay? Now, you're going to do the same thing as when you're cutting an onion, and you're gonna leave this back root end intact, because that's what's gonna hold it together for you. And you're gonna start with your fingers up on top like this, okay, to keep them out of the way. Now, I'm going to put my tip of my knife in where I'm gonna stop, and I'm going to follow the curve. Do you see how I've followed this curve down on the end? That is so that these outside pieces aren't much larger than these inside pieces because of that curve. So I'm just going to keep following that curve just like this. Notice my fingers are up here. Now I can hold it together a little bit better if I go with my fingers on the outside. And you can make these as large or as small as you want. I'm gonna throw them in a blender anyway, so it doesn't matter too much, but just to show you, we're gonna go this way. Now, if you notice here, I'm starting to curve back this way. Once you start to curve, your fingers need to go back up here. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the knife flip out like this, and if your fingers were right here, it'd go right into your fingers. Okay, so keep those fingers up here, and you can see I'm just going this way. Okay, see, there it started to go through this shallot for me there. Okay, then I'm gonna go across this way. Okay, and I go as thin as I can, and then I have a nice finely minced shallot. Again, there's gonna be a few pieces that are a little bit larger. If you really are upset about it, you can go through and individually cut them. But it's much faster and much easier to do like this than this way, right? And again, a couple big pieces, not a big deal. You can just flip through them with your knife, but it also leaves more flavor than running through it like this. Hopefully this helps you know how to work with a shallot. And don't forget, you want to slice instead of chop. If you notice, my knife always made that slicing motion because it is so closely related to the onion. You are going to get all emotional if your knife is dull or if you are chopping, because you're going to release those gases, which will make you cry, okay? No need to get emotional just because we're chopping a shallot, okay? Hope you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel to see more.